Every month in 2026, I'm purchasing at least one or two tarot related products made by indie creators. Today I'm sharing what I purchased in March. Hello, I'm Salt Rose. Welcome to my channel. At the beginning of this year, I started being much more conscious and mindful of what I was spending on tarot related things. I created a monthly budget specifically for tarot. I also decided I wanted to purchase a few less mass market items and instead buy things from indie designers or creators. So I've been treating it kind of like a swap, at least one or two indie purchases each month and at least one or two fewer mass market purchases. Having an actual budget has helped a lot. It makes it easy to keep track of exactly where my money is going, and it just feels good to support independent artists and designers. So far, I've mostly purchased printed items like zines. These are my purchases from January and February. I have videos out for these. And here are the things I'm going to share today that I purchased during March. Before I jump in, if you enjoy this video, please remember to like and subscribe. It really does help my channel grow, and I very much appreciate it. Let's get started with these. I found these on Etsy. They're digital downloads. These are both single-page mini-zines, which I have become obsessed with these. There's something about the way these fold and turn into these little booklets that I just love. And they fit into most tarot boxes, which is an added bonus. The creator of these is Caitlin Keegan. Here is her contact information. The two mini zines each contain tarot spreads. The full moon booklet has 2-card spreads in it, and the moon phases booklet has 5 different multi-card spreads for new moon, first quarter, full moon, last quarter, and then also a full cycle spread. And this is a full moon perpetual calendar. There is a place to fill in the year, and then also the dates for each of the full moon for whatever year you've printed this for. It prints in black and white, so you can color in the illustrations, and it includes a bit of information under each image, the name, origin, and a keyword. I'll also mention here that Caitlin has a couple of different decks that she's created, and you can find those from the second website that's listed here on the back of her booklets. I've been working with these moon phase spreads throughout March. I've always wanted to do an ongoing dedicated tarot-based moon practice. I've started a few times and never kept up with it long term, but I'm going to try again and at least do the full moon spreads. I've had this journal for a long time that I've never used, so it's perfect for this type of practice. This page prints to 8.5 by 11, but I'm cutting each one out, coloring it, and gluing it into my tarot journal, and then doing the corresponding spread. I had to go back and catch up with January and February since I didn't buy these until March, so I didn't actually do these two on the full moon, but for March I did this on the full moon, and for the rest of the year it's my goal to do each spread on the evening of the full moon. And just a quick side note, what I'm finding with my tarot practice in general is that for me, the shorter the better. I only wrote a few lines here. I used to write pages and pages for my readings, and then when I would go back and read them, they either wouldn't make any sense or they were just too overwhelming to read the whole thing through again. So I've started really putting down just the essentials when I do a reading, and that has really worked for me. It makes me enjoy the process much more, and when I go back to reread the readings, I have something very concise that just feels way more useful than reading through pages of writing. Anyway, I'm planning on checking back on this practice each month in these videos, mainly because I'm hoping that will encourage me to stick with this practice. So here's a closer look at Caitlin's website. One of the things I've realized since I started buying from indie creators is that there are some incredibly talented and very accomplished people out there that I would never have found without making it a priority to go searching for indie products. Caitlin is a really good example of that. When I visited her website, I realized she's done all kinds of hugely impressive work, including working for Sesame Street. That was really cool to see, and it made me even more excited to own some of her work. Moving on, the other indie purchase I made this month is this booklet or zine called Anamnesis. I've seen this a lot in different videos or social media posts, and I've considered buying it several times. I finally decided to go ahead and purchase it. This is a solo journaling game that uses tarot cards, and the description reads, Anamnesis is a solo journaling game about self-discovery, reflection, and identity. You play as an individual who has woken up with memory loss. You do not remember who you are, where you are, or what you care about. As you draw tarot cards, you fill in the blank spaces of your past and learn more about your present. To play, you need a deck of tarot cards and a way to record your thoughts, pen and paper, audio recording, etc. And here are the credits. Design and writing is by Samantha Leigh. They publish their games under the name Blinking Birch Games. Here is their website. There are a few other games on their site that they've created, and there are also links to their social media channels. So the way this works is basically you divide a tarot deck up into the majors and then the 4 minor suits. So you have 5 piles of cards, and there are 5 acts in the game. You begin by drawing 1 major arcana card that represents your shadow or who you were in the past that you now no longer are able to remember. And then you go through each of the 5 acts, turning the cards from the corresponding pile and then matching it up with the prompts in the booklet. So it's overall a very simple game. You also pull a major arcana card and then use that to answer the prompt. So for example, in Act 1, if I turned the 2 of Pentacles, the prompt reads, you look down at the clothes on your body. What are you wearing? How do you feel about the way you look? I then turned the Magician, so I would answer the questions based on this card. And you do that 3 times for each act. I did a complete playthrough of this game. I used the Forhaxa Tarot deck, and I journaled in a kind of dreamlike way instead of just writing. I did this in more of kind of a drawing collage style. So I kept the whole thing kind of surreal. I used some stickers. I turned the moon card for my shadow or who I used to be. And then here are the 5 acts of the game. So for Act 5 of the game, you freely choose a major arcana card that represents your present self. And I chose the Fool. So at the end of this game, I said, I'm back to where I began. I kind of just took it as almost a dream where nothing made much sense, but I woke up back where I started. I love what it says here at the end of the game. I don't want to give too much away. I'll just read a little bit. Your past may shape your experiences, your thoughts, your desires, but it does not define you. You are in control of your own path. And it goes on from there. The basic message is not to allow your past to define who you are now or who you can be in the future. And I love that message, and I love the premise of the game. Another thing I love about this game is that it can really help you to get to know the cards better, and it gives you an opportunity to interpret the cards in so many different ways and really in any way that you want to see them. And it kind of expands your vision of what the cards can be. I also think this game would be great for pathworking the tarot. Some people call that entering a card. And I really want to give that a try sometime. I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but I think this game would work really well for that. So I'm really happy with my purchases for March, and I already know what I'm going to be purchasing for April, or at least one of the things I'll be purchasing. It is also a solo RPG that uses tarot, and it has a cat theme to it, and I have a cat themed deck that I'm going to be using that with. So please be sure to check back, and if you find my content helpful, please like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back soon with more tarot related videos.